Definitely chance to move here on day 13. Day 13 of my 90-day challenge. And wow, it's been a hectic day. Poi and I are busy preparing. That's my business partner. We're busy preparing for our bootcamp workshop tomorrow. So it's been frantically trying to, finalize the presentation, venue, catering, all of that. And it's one of these moments where I just came back from printing out all the worksheets for the participants, the students tomorrow. So it's crazy. But what it does remind me of, and what it allows me to focus on, is getting a job done. And when you've got a deadline, that's a really great way to get stuff done, like to get moving. No excuses. It must be completed. And that's a strategy that I find for me personally works quite well. Even if there isn't a deadline, I put a deadline on, so that just gives me that extra kick in the butt to make it happen. So what's just happened? Okay, so this morning I've just had a mind blank. This morning I participated in my first ever it was my debut guest appearance on HuffPost Live. So the HuffPost Live website and community. I was graciously and kindly added to the community, or introduced to the community by my beautiful friend Gloria Roheim McRae, who's in Canada, in Toronto, and she's just released her first book, which is BYOB, Be Your Own Boss, in which I'm one of the guest bosses in her video series that she's created as part of the launch for the book. So if you're someone who's interested in doing what I do, basically working for yourself and following your passion and escaping the 9-to-5, then that's another book I'd recommend you go and check out, because Gloria's done it. She did it in I think 3 or 4 years. That's when I first met her in Toronto, and she went from just quitting her job with very little savings, and then 3 years later she's replaced her salary and even doing better than that, and just doing an amazing job. So people like that, like us, actually exist. So that's it. So that's really cool. Anyway, what I learned from the experience on HuffPost Live this morning was that I was one of 5 guests that were on the show, and it was a 25-minute segment, and there were three women from the US and one gentleman who was in somewhere in South America, Latin America, Guatemala or something. I can't remember where. Anyway, so the segment was all about how to remain positive in difficult financial times, and having been through that experience before, when I moved to Canada, I lost my job and had very little savings to keep me going, and it was just a very tough situation where I had a visa that didn't allow me to work for anyone except for the company that I was transferred over there with, and so they let me go, and then I had 6 or 8 months left on the visa, so I had to get very creative very quickly to be able to pay my rent, pay my grocery bills, and do the things I wanted to do. And so something that came up in that chat, or in that HuffPost Live chat today, was a question that Gloria actually posted, which I didn't have the opportunity to respond to because 2 of the other ladies jumped in before me. So that was one lesson that I picked up right away, was when you're on a panel with several different people where they're fighting for attention, you have to really express yourself and jump in quick and be heard and make yourself heard. And that's the only way in that kind of environment where you can really say what you've got to say and be heard, right? So that was the lesson I got out of that particular experience this morning, and I look forward to the next one because I'll be more prepared for that. So back to my story. So the question that Gloria posted was around so in our culture, in our society, there is a overlap, or there's an understanding or a misunderstanding that one's value is determined by one's net worth or financial value. So, are you, is your worth, your value, what is reflected in your bank account, right? So, and my answer to that is no, it's not. Okay, so you are not determined by the wage that you're being paid right now, the salary that you're on. Okay, your value as a person and as a human being is far beyond any material or monetary reward that you have. Okay, now that's not to say that it's not worthwhile to pursue material or financial wealth, because what that does is it offers us and affords us opportunities and choices. Okay, and it's a measure of effort, and it's a currency of exchange. So that's the society that we live in. The society that we live in. I don't necessarily agree with the society that we live in and that economy, but at the same time, I also understand that that's what we're faced with. That's the circumstance that we're in, and we can basically play the game, or we can try and play something different or go beyond that. Just understand that in either choice and either path, there's going to be challenges and there's going to be different types of rewards. Okay. Now, one's value, to me at least, is determined by a lot more than the amount of dollars you have. Okay. And that comes from my experience of not having a lot of money myself, and also having at one point and having more than enough to cover my living expenses, and then also on the other side, living in Laos for 10 months and visiting rural communities and really seeing what poor people, how they're living and how they experience the world. So I had some insight into that, and I can tell you some of the most happiest people in the world are also some of the most poorest. So that has nothing to do with the amount of money they have. It's more about how they are connected to their communities, how they're connected to themselves, and their purpose for being here and for serving and for sharing and helping and doing all these different things and just having fun and enjoying life, right? There's so much more to you and I than what we can see, what in a bunch of numbers, right? So anyway, that's my quick spiel for today. I'm going to actually write a more succinct and a more in-depth blog post about this. So I think Gloria, you've inspired me to do some writing here. But for now, this is my update for today. So anyway, have a great evening, guys, and I will see you tomorrow.